In this part of video series, I'll show you how to create activity ring in swiftUI. So let's start from creating that stack. We will create ring using circle in swiftUI. So to create activity ring, we will require two circles, one to represent placeholder for the ring and the second one to show actual activity. So let's get started. Circle, stroke, let's pick color. Light gray, stroke style with line width of 30. Let's set the frame to 300 by 300. This circle will act as a placeholder for activity ring. Now let's create a circle to represent activity ring. Create activity ring. And then set the frame to 300. We want this red circle to represent our activity percentage, so let's trim it. Trim from 0 to 90%. Since this circle is starting from this point, we want this point to start from this point. For this, we'll rotate this circle by 90 degrees. We also want this corner to be rounded. For this, let's add line cap dot round. Great. In order to animate this ring, we will add animation effect here. Before that, we will need the state property. Trim rim set to false by default. And then we will trim this circle from 0 to 0.9 when state variable changes. Otherwise 0. Finally, add animation for duration of 1 second, and then change the state property on view will appear. Now let's see how it works. That's great. Now we will use this segment as a template to activity ring. So let's copy this and create a new struct. Struct activity ring that conforms to view, and then paste here. We will remove this code from here now and call activity ring inside this. Let's see what's going wrong. Compiling failed. Type English activity ring reference itself. Seems it is not happy with this naming convention. Let's make it RT and then RT. Let's compile again. Seems it's okay now. Okay, now let's pass custom parameter to the activity ring so that we can customize activity ring as required. For this, let's use these parameters. Here we want to pass radius, percentage, background, ring color, line width, animation duration, and we are making these four parameters optional by passing default values for it. So let's use these inputs from user. Now this will go to background, this will go to line width, this will go to radius into 2, radius into 2, this will be same, this will go from percent to 0, this will go to color, line width, radius into 2, radius into 2, and animation duration equals to animation duration. Now we can use RT activity ring by passing radius equals to 100 and then percentage equals to 0.6. Now it's very easy to change the parameters or create a new activity ring as required. Let's create a new one again and put 140 or 9. That's good. We can even change the color also. With this code there is one problem. If we increase the percentage beyond 100%, that it won't be able to properly show the activity progress. Let me show what I mean. 1.5. That's the reason we need to create an overlapping activity ring to indicate more than 100% progress. So let's do it. Before creating overlapping ring, let's create some computer property so that we can pass it to overlapping ring. So here we have trim overlapping that will animate the overlapping ring, and then there is a primary percent and secondary percent. Primary percent will hold up to 100%, and when the percentage increase beyond 100%, let's say 150%, then this secondary percent will hold the remaining 50%. Similarly, there is a primary duration which will animate primary ring, and then there is secondary duration which will animate overlapping ring for this duration. Now it's time to create overlapping ring. For this, we will create primary view structure inside the activity ring itself, so that it won't be able to falsely initialize from outside. There is not much difference in what we have already done before. The only difference is we are actually trimming the circle for a very small amount. That means we are just creating a dot. The reason behind creating this dot, I have explained the reason behind creating this dot in design part. If you haven't watched that video, then please do check it out, and the link is provided in the description below. Now it's time to use this overlapping ring. We'll need to show this overlapping ring if the percent is more than 100%. So percent is greater than 1.0, then overlapping ring, and we will use all the parameters. Radius and color, line width, after this we need to change this to primary percent and then primary duration. Let's see how it's working. Still, this ring is not properly displaying the activity ring. It's because the ring and overlapping ring are of same color and there is no differences. To make overlapping ring visible, we will create some shadow effect. Shadow black, radius 0, x equals to 1 and y equals to 0. Now it's visible. But again, the animation stops at this point. So to animate the remaining 50%, we will rotate this activity ring to 50% down here. So let's rotate this overlapping ring. Rotation effect, the degree, trim overlapping, secondary percent into 360, otherwise it's 0. And then let's animate. secondary duration, and delay by primary percent, primary duration, and finally trigger animation on appeal. That's it. If you think the animation is happening too quick, then we can pass animation duration here to 2.0. Now you can show as many rings as you want just by changing these parameters to 40, and let's say it's 0. And if you want a different color, okay. If you want more, it's getting overlapped. Let's say it's 60. We change percent 5.